Tono Dam is one of the largest agricultural dams in Western Africa, located in the Kassina-Nankana district of the Upper East region, northern Ghana. It is important in the livelihoods of local farmers and forms a lake with a notable bird habitat. The dam was built in the late 70s and early 80s by Taysec, a British engineering company.
In the year 1960, the government of Ghana had assistance from the UNDP and then the Food and Agriculture Organization. That was talks towards the build-up of the Tono Irrigation Company. Somewhere around 1983, the company was formed out of the fact that the two schemes, Tono and Via, were far away from Accra for the administration of JIDA. So the company ICO was formed in 1983. That was being mandated to take care of the Via and Tono schemes. And an act was passed in Parliament, 1963 Act, that gave the mandate of ICO, Irrigation Company of our Afar Region, to administratively manage the two schemes.
Crops mainly produced under the scheme were rice, tomato, soya beans, onions, pepper, and other leafy vegetables. The production of these crops has contributed greatly in enhancing food security in the Upper East region and the nation as a whole.
ICO by then was empowered to deliver all sorts of services to farmers. They had mechanization, they had the silos, they had the mill, they had the extension staff. With time, I think ICO ran down drastically, and then that came a decision that the World Bank, they seek for assistance from the World Bank to be able to uplift the two schemes. Then the project called GCAP, Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project, came into being.
GCAP, which is Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project, is one of the most important tools by which this ministry seeks to support Ghanaian farmers, especially those in the savannah areas where they have only one rainy season, which lasts for only 4 months. So it means that for the rest of the 8 months, because there's no water, they can't farm. So irrigation is a very important instrument of policy that government uses to support farmers. And that was to ensure that farmers can produce 3 crops in a year without having to rely on rainfall. And especially in recent times, with the climate change and so on affecting the patterns of rainfall, it makes rain as a reliable partner in the agricultural area very unreliable. And therefore, you need an insurance of providing water for farmers in order for them to carry out their function over the years. So through the GCAP, government has sought to support farmers to ensure that they deliver on their mandate of providing food for the people of this country.
GCAP is providing 2 major interventions. First, we are looking at the institutions which are responsible for the management of irrigation in Ghana. That is Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, JIDA, and the Irrigation Company of Upper Region, now called ICO, which is in Navrongo. What we are doing for these two institutions, first, we are retooling them, providing them all necessary tools to be able to regulate as well as manage infrastructure successfully.
Ghana Irrigation Development Authority was set up in 1977 by an Act of Parliament called Irrigation Development Authority Act 1977, also known as the SMC Decree 85. Previously, the authority used to be part of a department under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture before it was declared a whole authority, but it is still supervised by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. And the SMC Decree 85 that set up the authority defined the roles of the authority. Key among them was to formulate plans for irrigation development in the country. Also to develop water resources for irrigation in the country. And also among it was to work in partnership with other agencies to ensure that the irrigation infrastructure is utilized effectively in the country. And also to support the development of aquaculture by providing the water and also for livestock development. So you can see that it is in full support of the operations of the agricultural sector of the economy.
Well, you know, many of these schemes were done in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. I mean, the latest was in 74. And since then, there has been no major intervention to rehabilitate in terms of, there's no maintenance culture. The schemes have been allowed to run on their own, and in the course of the 30, 40 years, the infrastructure has crumbled. I mean, the laterals and so on that used to take water from the dams to the fields have all deteriorated without any major effort for rehabilitation. GCAP came in at a time to solve this problem by going through the World Bank and initially with the US aid to try and do a complete rehabilitation of 4 projects: the Tono Irrigation scheme, the Via Irrigation both in the north, and then the 2 along the river, the Volta River in the south, the left bank and the right bank.
We want to be able to transform the agricultural sector so that it can contribute to reducing poverty. It can help households to increase their income. It can also help the government to achieve the agenda of economic development for Ghana. So this is basically, you know, the goal of the World Bank on agriculture, to transform it so that, one, it can produce the food we need sufficiently. It can also help households to generate sufficient income to live a decent life, and it can, you know, support the overall economic development for Ghana.
The scheme has faced a few challenges, which are but not limited to deteriorated irrigation infrastructure on the 2 schemes, Tono and Via, inadequate availability of equipment for land and harvesting, inadequate numbers of technical operational staff, physical rehabilitation and modernization of the project. The Ghana Commercial Agriculture Project provided funds for the rehabilitation and modernization of the Tono and Via irrigation schemes.
Now, with the mandate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, GCAP is supposed to rehabilitate, modernize, and automate Tono scheme under the auspices of the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority.
WAPCOS Limited is the consultant on the project. Net irrigable area that we are supposed to rehabilitate and modernize is about 2,900 hectares. So we are supervising the contractors who are to build the infrastructure on the ground.
The scope of works for the rehabilitation and modernization of the Tono irrigation schemes involves, but not limited to, improving and repairing works on the dam wall, crest road, as well as spillway retaining walls and chutes. It involves replacement and repair of concrete lining of the main gravity canal, repair and construction cross regulators, and replacement of canal gates, reconstruction and repair, as well as relining of laterals and sublaterals, improvements of restricted drainage areas, provision of causeway across the main drain with a discharge measurement bay, equipped with an automatic flow measurement device. Demarcation of the Tono Lakeshore buffer zone will also be done. The project is also focused on repairing of the roads that lead to the project sites and construction of new crossing structures. Solar pumps will also be developed at pumping stations and drip irrigation on zones B and O. Canal automation and instrumentation works will also be looked at. This includes installation of state-of-the-art instrumentation and automation for gate controls, monitoring, and measurement of flows.
Because those sublaterals and even the main lateral are all not lined, almost all the lines are lining have gone. The contractor on this project is to replace most of the panels, to rebuild the laterals. The lateral is being excavated, all the old excavated, newly filled, compact, and they've cut into a trapezoidal shape, and then it's lined.
So for projects such as the irrigation facility, we ensure that all environmental issues such as waste management, reclamation of borrow pits, usage of natural resources within the areas are done in a manner that is sustainable. So when we ensure that these things are done, we are sure that the environment is protected. We also have workers that work on our canals and our lateral systems. We ensure that each worker is well protected. We give them PPEs to protect themselves. We have in place policies that ensure that they work according to the labor conditions of our country. They are not abused. We also ensure that they have good eating and sleeping places if they are camped. But if they are coming from other places, we also provide for them means of transportation to the place. This makes working conditions for our workers very smooth, and it helps them carry out their roles at the project site.
The project is geared towards the employment of skilled and unskilled workers during the construction and operational phases. An estimate of approximately 500 skilled and unskilled labor will be employed at the peak of the construction phase. It is also expected that a boost from 2,300 to 4,000 beneficiary farmers will be realized.
When the canal got broke down, it was very difficult for us to get water into our farms. So sometimes when you farm about an acre, you will get to realize that the number of bags that maybe you might be expecting, you will not get due to the challenges of the water.
Most at times there is no water during the dry season farming. We don't have water to farm. And even when the canal was there, the water is not reaching all the farm. Our plots are not getting water fluently like the way we want it.
At times you get water to plow, transplant, and at the middle of the crop, let's say when they are about to tassel, at times you have a water shortage. So we won't have enough water to get to the crops so that they will be able to tassel very well for you to have a very good yield. At times we use a pumping machine to draw water from the river bank. There's a river that has run through just behind the canal. So at times when we don't have water, we use the pumping machine, which is also another cost. You have to buy petrol, buy oil, all those things. Then you have to draw the water from the river bank then into your farm, in order not for your crop to spoil.
For now, we have most part of the scheme rehabilitated. The left bank is almost finished. The right bank is still under construction. And that's for the Tono scheme. And most of the farm gates are still to be fixed. We have not yet started with automation and the modernization. And this was due to the recent COVID-19 impasse.
The project also aims at an improvement in the rural economy, that is, a boom in business operations in the areas of transport, mechanization, telecommunications, and so forth. In effect, this may lead to better health facilities, roads, water and sanitation services in the area. The irrigation scheme will support an increased number of farmers who no longer depend on rainfall for their agricultural activities. This provides a better climate change adaptation, given the global uncertainties in rainfall patterns.